Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of How with Special Needs, and we have Mari today.
Hello.
You guys don't know this, but I actually know Mari because we are both Zumba instructors, and this girl just got the moves. She really got it. And but Zumba is not the only thing we share. We're sharing a very special journey with our kiddos, and she's gonna tell us all about it. So let's start with the ID card of the condition. So you have a child.
Yeah.
What medical condition does he have?
So basically, well, he has a few different things, but the main things are the one is Hirschsprung disease, which is a bowel condition, and another is autism, which is severe one. Yeah.
Okay. So we have Hirschsprung, which is written Hirschsprung, Hirschsprung disease.
Yeah, correct, I think. Yeah.
Is it a German?
I believe so, yeah. I think that's the doctor that found the condition, I guess.
Okay,
yeah.
So the condition is named after the doctor who discovered it.
Yeah. I'm not too sure, but I think, yeah.
Does the condition have any nickname?
Well, some people call it like HD, Hirschsprung disease, but I don't think it's common, if you say HD and then like people understand. No, I don't think so. But for the families that know the condition, we call it HD as well.
Okay, fair enough. Plus, on top of it, ASD.
Mm-hmm.
And Kai has it severe.
Yes, yeah, level 3.
Level 3.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so today we're going to see basically all that you need to know about special needs. So, how long has this condition been around, to your knowledge?
So, as far as I know, I think that the condition was discovered a few hundred years ago, but the surgical treatment was first done in like 60, 70 years ago. So, yeah, I don't think it's new, but probably the treatment itself, it's been, not too long, I suppose.
Okay, fair enough. How rare or common?
So you see, I think 1 in 5,000 people have this.
Okay, so it is actually more common that one would... It's not considered a rare...
Yeah, I think so. So you probably know someone that actually has the condition. Yeah.
And how did you find out about this?
So he was born with it, basically. So this condition is about the bowel. Basically, the bowel doesn't move because there are missing cells that move the bowel. So what happened is so when the baby is born, in the first, I think 24 hours, you are supposed to pass the first poo, which didn't happen with Kai. We were waiting. It didn't happen. Yeah. And then, okay, there's something wrong, right? And then he wasn't interested in feeding as well. And then I think on the first night or second night, he started to vomit the green bile. That's when we thought, okay, there's something wrong. So we took him to the NICU. That was just downstairs, luckily. And then we were told that it's very likely that it's a Hirschsprung disease, and that he will need a surgery very soon.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't know during the pregnancy?
No, I have no idea. Yeah, I thought everything was fine, and then baby was born. Okay, healthy, nice and healthy. It was not.
Was he your first?
Yes, correct.
Surprise! Yes.
It was really.
So not nice when you start your parenthood journey and your special needs journey together and you don't even know it comes out of the blue. So the condition normally entails problems with the bowel.
Yes. Yeah.
Does it affect even other organs?
It's a difficult question, I guess. So I think there are it affects people differently because some people, the Hirschsprung disease is basically the large bowel, affects the large bowel. But some people has only a small portion of large bowel. For some people, it's a bit longer. It even goes to small intestines for some people. So it really depends how much, this affected bowel is, and also, it's really hard. It's case by case, really. Yeah. Some people will have to manage, the constipation, chronic constipation all their life, even though they have all the treatment is done. Or maybe they suffer from incontinence on the other hand. So yeah, it's hard to know. It really depends on the person.
Yeah, it is true that the bowel is really connected to all of our being, really. Yeah. And sometimes we don't consider that, but our gut health is really
that's right.
basic. It's really, really important.
Yeah, that actually reminded me of, I think it's not really, there are still people doing some research about this, but there are a lot of people who believes there is a strong connection with the brain.
Yeah.
So actually a lot of like autistic kids have like some sort of bowel condition. So it may be connected, we don't know, but yeah. For Kai, unfortunately, he's got both.
Talking about ASD, when did you guys find out about that?
So it was pretty early, 24 months. So
24 months.
Yeah. So he was starting to show some signs at like 18 months, I think. I wasn't really worried about anything because he spent a lot of time in the hospital. So like there was a little bit of delay, but maybe because he spent so much time in the hospital. He'll catch up. Yeah. But then like my husband was like, no, there's something wrong, there's something wrong, right? And
was it in terms of eye contact, of communication?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And then he was not like showing any like language, development as well. Or he was even losing some skills as well. Once he was doing, like pointing, but then he stopped doing that, for example. So, So, and then like just before turning 2, he wasn't even saying mama or, dada, really basic, like those words. But he was reading letters and numbers. So I was like, this is very strange. Very strange. He doesn't say mama, he's reading numbers. Okay, So soon after that, he was diagnosed with level 3 autism. So I was like, yeah, I knew it. Right.
Does that entail also texture aversions, some kind of food aversions, or problems with light, like sensory issues?
Yeah, so it's a spectrum. So, like some people have really like issue with the touch. Some people, they, like not at all. So it really depends on person. But for Kai, I think he has sensibility with noise. So, so he uses, like the CE mouth when he gets, like a little bit overwhelmed with the noise and everything. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. How old is he now?
Six. Just turned 6. Yeah.
How is his life looking like?
So he doesn't really speak yet. So he doesn't tell me much about his life. So it's hard to guess when he's at school. But he goes to now support unit, only a class of 5, I think. And he seems to be enjoying. He he jumps onto the school bus very happily every morning, so which is good. And the teacher told me that he seems to be interested in other kids in the classroom. So but it's hard because I don't know any of his friends. I don't know if he has any friends. So he actually recently turned 6. But when we were thinking about, should we throw a birthday party? But I thought maybe the party isn't something that he enjoys. So we didn't really do anything like big for him. But rather than that, we did just a little bit of, like day outing, the family day out, some sort of thing. But then my husband was telling me, it's so sad that, like we don't really hold party with his friends, So I was like, yeah, that's right, So it's something that we probably work on maybe in the near future. So we're trying to now get in touch with some school friends, so that we can organize play dates or something like that. So, yeah.
Well, it is true that some people really are not that social. How does Hirschsprung disease impact your child? Because I reckon, logistically speaking, that's
that's the major. I think so. So he has had many surgeries. So I counted on the way here. He has had 11 surgeries so far.
Far out.
Yeah, I know, right? So most of them happened in the first 3 years of his life. So yeah, for the treatment of Hirschsprung disease, if it's straightforward, I think for most of the straightforward cases, there are 3 steps. So the first step is to create a stoma, or any way so that the poo can get delivered out of the body. Well, so stoma is it's like an artificial anus on your
Tummy.
Yes.
So they're poking your tummy to give way, a free way to the
So
to the
make
bowel.
a small hole, and then you cut the part of the intestine, take them out, and then stitch into your skin. And then you put the bag on top of it so that the poo goes into the bag, and then whenever it's full, you empty. So that's how you poo. So he used to have that bag for 2 years. I think 2 years and a little bit. Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah. So that's the first step. And then you remove the part that is not moving, and then rejoint, and then close the stoma. So that's the 3 steps. Yeah.
Okay.
But the things didn't go really straightforward with Kai.
Oh gosh.
So the first step was to have the stoma done, and then the second step they cut
out the parts that are not
connected. But then those rejointed part formed some sort of scar tissue, really rigid one. So it was
blockage.
Closed. Yeah. So it didn't go well. And we tried to fix it, like doing a steroid injection or just, to stretch it out. We tried, I think, 2 treatments to deal with this stricture, which we call. But it didn't go well. So we had to redo the procedure. We had to cut another 8 centimeters, rejoint.
8 centimeters in a baby, in a child, in a toddler.
Yeah. So it's a lot. Yeah. And then after that procedure, somehow his bladder stopped working.
Oh.
So he didn't wee for. I mean, he was having this catheter, right, for a while, but it's not something that you can wear for a long time. No. So he had to have some sort of like semi-permanent one. So they did another surgery to make a hole straight into the bladder, and then put the catheter. It's called SPC, suprapubic catheter, I think. So he has that for a few months, and we had to train his bladder. So that catheter you can actually open and close. So you can sort of close so you can actually deliver the wee out of your body. But if not, emergency situation, open, and then you can just empty it, right? So that way, like open close many times a day, and then so that his bladder gets to work normally. So it took, I think, a few months. 2-3 months, I guess. And then I was so glad that he started to wee again.
First thing is what I'm hearing is, and this is something that I would like to highlight when we talk about special needs, it's not just the condition. So we have to fix it in 3 steps. The problem of these journeys is the setbacks. Is this didn't work. The scar tissue caused blockages. So the roller coaster, when we talk about 1 step forward, 2 step backwards, it's all the complications that might arise from all the attempts of trying to resolve a major life-changing condition, and then you trip on complications. Okay, but this caused that. This caused that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So anytime, us as parents are complaining about how long it's taken to do potty training with our child, okay, stop for a second.
Yeah.
Is the bladder now resolved?
I think so, but we still see urologist for that reason, because he once had problems. He was diagnosed with neurological bladder at that point, I think. Yeah. I mean, we don't know why it happened, but yeah. At least he doesn't need a catheter at the moment, you know, and then he's weeing himself, but he's still wearing a nappy. So yeah, he doesn't know if he has control over it. It's a question mark. So we'll figure it out once we are ready to.
Yeah, and you don't even know what is causing this, if Hirschsprung disease or ASD, maybe.
Yeah, so we don't know.
Yeah. You were telling me about these procedures.
The washout itself.
This incredible woman was texting me, hey, yeah, it's okay. It's taking us 2 hours for the procedure to complete. But yeah, sure, we spend a lot of time on the toilet. Tell me about it. I'm trying to put the positive, but it really sounds very dramatic, very complex.
A little bit, a lot of poo handling, right?
Yeah. Let's get into the dirty talking here. Come on.
Yeah, I'm so confident that I've been handling this poo situation more than any mothers around me.
It really is a crappy situation to be in.
But anyway, so before I talk about the washout, so after he had the bladder situation, that settled, and then eventually the stoma was closed, right? Which means that he can poo from his anus. But then I think what was happening was that he was always constipated. So he was pooing so many times a day. So I was showering, because what comes out is quite loose because he's lost almost half of his large intestine. So he was having a nappy rash all the time. So he was, I was showering him 8-9 times a day, every day for 3 years. I mean, once she started going to daycare, in the daycare stuff did 4 times in there. So I only had to do it like 4 or 5 times, but still like 3 years of this hardcore showering every day.
And you were mentioning that he also had irritations and blood. It's really not nice.
It is. It was so painful. Sometimes it has blood, and then he couldn't even stand, on the chair. So he was like,
the poor thing.
Yeah.
Well, we consider basic needs, basic functioning of the body.
But anyway, that phase has passed now. So he had another surgery, and that was last December. So now he has a semi-permanent hole on his tummy again. But this time, it is to wash his bowel out. So idea is that we put some water and some medication in the mix, and then we wash what's in the bowel, and then if it's empty, then you can stay clean in the coming hours. So we do the washout at night, and then when he's in school, he can stay clean. That's the idea. So that seems to be working for the moment. I mean, we still try to figure out what is the best, mix of the solution.
Medication, yeah.
So, but at least, his nappy rash is so much better, and he seems to have less tummy pain because he used to crawl himself.
So much tummy pain.
Yeah, I think he was constantly constipated, I think, so that's why. Yeah, but now he doesn't do that anymore, which is good. And and then I asked always, teacher to report if he has any bowel movement. And most of the days he stays clean, so yeah. But still, we spend a lot of time in the toilet or, cleaning the poo. Yeah, because now what we do the washout, it depends. We are still trying to figure out, but around dinner time. And then he doesn't really get everything out before he goes to bed. But somehow, when he's asleep, maybe the muscle relaxes and everything comes out, right, when he's asleep. But it means that you have a lot of sheets to wash or clothes to wash one time, right? So, yeah, doing a lot of washing, and we are still trying to figure out what's the most practical, ways to manage this situation. Yeah.
It's very stressful. It really sounds very stressful.
Yeah, so because when we do the washout, I just tell him, hey Kai, let's do washout, and he's he's very willingly comes with me to do the washout. So it means that I think he knows that somehow this procedure is helping me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because if he doesn't want it, then he just doesn't do it, right?
Correct. Implement a different routine, perfecting what you already have, seeing if you can find better ways to slowly improve.
Yeah.
How has this journey impacted your family?
Well, this is obviously not something that we expected. We didn't know, like I thought the pregnancy was all right. So it was a shock, obviously. We had to spend a lot of time in the hospital, like a lot. So at some point, like my husband used up all his like sick leave, annual leave, everything. That was actually just before my second son was born. There was a time that Kai was constantly having diarrhea. And when you have diarrhea with a stool, the amount of the water that comes out of it's incredible. So once that happens, straight to the hospital on the IV, drip.
Yeah.
So that happened like every 2 weeks at that point, short period of time. And then I was heavily pregnant. So my husband, took him to the hospital, stayed there for a few nights. So yeah, so now as well, now I work full time, but still, there are always something. The hospital appointment, like bowel clinic, for example, urologist appointment, and developmental, clinic. So we see many different specialists, and also we are doing lots of therapies as well. So yeah, obviously that we're spending a lot of time to give him, a better life, or it's thrown us a lot of challenges, obviously, right? So it happens probably to any parents, but like you disagree with one thing, for example, with your partner, and you want to do this treatment, but the other partner doesn't want to do, or you want to have different approach. So there will be, I think, there have been a lot of like disagreement in between us as well in the journey. So
it's such a life-changing situation. It's really complex. It's really stressful. So on one hand, and having another baby brings lots of blessings, but again, logistically, you have to manage your time. You're tired. You're really tired. And how does, may I ask, your other son, his sibling, take this journey, Kai's journey?
So he's 4, so I don't know how much he understands. But he knows that his older brother has got some problem with his bowel, with his gut. And also he's autistic as well. So he now says, Kai is autistic, so he doesn't speak, that sort of thing. So he knows that his brother is a bit different, yeah. But yeah, at the same time, because we spend a lot of time with Kai, or, we pay a lot of attention to Kai, maybe I feel that sometimes, my younger son, Neo, is seeking our attention. So sometimes, like, he even told me the other day, like, he does naughty things, and then, why you don't listen? And then he was like, because I want your attention. So like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
Such an incredibly mature thing for a 4-year-old. Look, I'm doing something naughty because right now I want your attention. There are adults who don't understand this dynamic. And he's 4 and he already got... That shows incredible awareness from
he's quite he's quite smart, I think. Yeah.
It really sounds that you guys didn't have one worst moment, but lots of bad moments. But if there has been one, the worst moment ever,
that's really hard to pick. I was thinking about it on the way here, and I could think of like 3 things, but in different in different ways, I guess. The biggest shock was obviously when we found out that he has to go to the the surgery, like, because he was born, and I was so tired of this whole thing, the labor, I lost quite a lot of blood, like more than 1 liter. I was like, oh. Yeah. So I was destroyed, and then on top of it, my baby has some problem, and he has to go have a surgery. A bag? What is that,
What's happening?
Yeah. So I was not, like, dealing with the situation not very well. And I still remember that, he was taken to the theater, and so like, it was really hard. Yeah. So yeah, you may know it when your baby is really small, and then they take you to the theater. The doctors take the baby to the theater, but after a while, maybe after 6 months or so, when your child is older than 6 months, then you are taking the baby to the theater and lay the baby in the theater bed.
And then you get out. You don't want to get out, and your feet are stuck in there.
Yeah, well, I mean, you need to leave, obviously, but it's kind of hard to watch the child put to sleep.
Yeah.
So I was warned, well, it may be a little distressing for you to watch, your baby put to sleep. Like, we have to give him like pre-medication or something, because now he's very strong. So, he doesn't want to go to theater. He knows what's going to happen.
He knows exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, for the first time that I had to lay him on the bed, it was kind of hard. Yeah. And on the third thing that I thought of was that it's a very different things, but I moved house, and then I moved into different areas when Kai was just before 2, and then when I was pregnant with the second, and we were looking for new daycares. So I visited maybe 5 different daycares in the area. And then, there was sort of discrimination. I mean, I understand if this child has special needs, and this child, back then Kai had a stoma with a strong suspicion of autism. Of course, like this child gives you so much more work and responsibility, and so many things to worry about. You don't want your child in that center. I understand, but yeah, they didn't tell me directly, obviously, but we were turned down due to that. I'm very sure. So that was not very nice, No. And I was pretty pissed off,
Yeah.
Yeah, really. For the first time, I call it like my child was discriminated due to what he has. So
that is so incredibly hard, because it not only I imagine discriminating a child like that not only is so incredibly unfair to the child, but it's incredibly unfair to the family. It's teaching the other families, no, we don't want you here. It doesn't matter the level of what you think is, oh, okay, this is a special need to take care of. We don't like that one. No, the equality, inclusion means that you do cater, especially for the children who have had such a horrible beginning of their life. So you should actually protect them and support them even more. It's a fundamental right that was not given to your child. You have absolutely all the rights to feel so pissed. I'm pissed for you. You tell me their names. I'm gonna take care of them Italian style. Mafia style.
Yeah, probably I overwhelmed them with the information, because if you don't know about the, like if you have never heard about the condition, what is the bag? And then, like I explained, gave them a little bit of information, but maybe it was too much. They got probably overwhelmed.
But that's their job.
Yeah.
You were simply being a mother who's incredibly knowledgeable and prepared. And so you were trying to give them a picture. That is something actually to reward. A prepared mom who's advocating for her child and trying to do the best.
Yeah. So I visited, a few different daycares, and then some of them were like, yeah, I mean, that's totally fine. If you teach us what to do, we'll take care of it. So we found a very nice daycare, and then he was there for almost 3 years.
Well, luckily there are better places that you guys found.
Yeah, so this daycare that we are, Kai was going, fantastic. Very flexible. I know it was so hard for them to, shower him, changes, like nappies so many times every day. Yeah. With, like nappy rash. He's screaming, like obviously it must have been so hard, but they did that, so
Very nice.
I'm so grateful for them. Yeah.
Sometimes you find the good people that bring some light in the journey, throughout the journey.
Yeah.
It's good. What has been the best moment?
It's another hard one to answer, probably. I mean, there are always little joys in every day, right? Because these kids are so resilient, like much more than you think they are. I mean, Kai has been through so much, but he still, smiles, and seems to be enjoying his life. So I think to see that, it's really good, I think.
It teaches you the biggest lesson of love for life, joy of living. I want to hug you. Come here. Oh, darling. Oh, you guys are so empowering and so inspiring. And I want to ask everyone, please comment. This is an amazing lesson for all of us. It's beautiful, and I only see a few pictures of Kai, and he is managing like a champion two incredibly complex conditions. They are both incredibly complex because one is literally challenging his basic functions of his body. The other one is so incredibly challenging also for his intellectual, mental, emotional capacity. So it's you guys have to have it all. Oh, yeah, lucky. Lucky me. Is there a community for Hirschsprung disease that you guys can join, ask questions?
So I know that there is a large Facebook community, but it's quite scary because what these people post is like they're in extreme condition, and what do I do? Tell me if there is an answer. And then posting a picture of massive belly, for example, or really infected stomach side, for example. So it's really horrifying to see sometimes. Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah. And also, I mean, it's not online, but I know some people. We actually met in a hospital with the same condition, the baby. So. Yeah, we used to hang around with them, not so much, but we used to hang around quite often to talk about, yeah. And I think there used to be a charity organization as well in Sydney, but I don't think they operate anymore, unfortunately. Yeah.
That's bad. Especially because it's a fairly common condition, so lots of you guys would need support.
Yeah. I mean, it's common, but it's not known, right? So it's interesting. Yeah, and also it's not visible, right?
No.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So you don't know, if this person has got,
Are you finding some support from the ASD community? So families who are dealing with autism.
Yeah. So I have some Japanese friends. So there is this group chat where we organize play dates time to time, and so I know people, I think, and I've got support, emotional support that I need. Yeah.
But if anyone was listening to this interview and was like, I am drowning, man, or they're just finding out right now and it's really overwhelming to understand and accept this, what would be your word of advice?
Probably, for Hirschsprung disease, I think obviously you are dealing with the hospital, right, for the treatment, and then they usually know other patients in the area, or some other community if there's anything available. So asked for advice in the hospital. That's a first step, I guess, wherever you are. And for autism, it's probably the same thing, because the hospital or the doctors diagnose the child, so they should know some sort of community. Or once you've got the diagnosis, then you will very likely to do some sort of therapies, right? And in the therapy, there are some other patients, and then there is always community around that. So that's probably how you will search another families. Yeah, that's the best way. But also, I know that there are lots of online communities. But for autism, it's very interesting because it's a spectrum, right? So for some people, it's, for example, level 1. They speak, they can do their normal life, but they still have some struggles that you may not see, or it's pretty obvious. But then if it's level 3, you may not speak, for example, and you may have lots of different challenging behavior. So it's the same name, autism, but what you see
very wide.
Is very different. So you may need to find some people with a bit of similar situation or level, and some people see this condition very differently. So yeah, you may need to find the right people with the similar mindset as you, probably.
Especially right now, and especially in some countries.
Yeah.
Without getting into this, but there is a massive controversy on ASD, on autism. Yeah. And most of the controversy comes from people who have no idea whatsoever what it is living with this condition. Yeah. So they do find their own entitlement to have an opinion and to speak up, where it would be lovely if for once they listened to someone like you who can actually tell what this condition entails, what it actually looks like, what it actually feels like. And especially the families, I've known families who are not really well accepting the condition, especially when it's not visible. Has it been challenging for you guys the same way to understand and accept Hirschsprung disease just like ASD, autism, or it felt different for you guys?
I think that accepting Hirschsprung disease was probably easier. It was pretty obvious it was a physical condition. We had to do something to do the treatment, right? So otherwise he wouldn't survive. But then autism, it's I think I have accepted that, but for my husband, for example, I think it was really difficult because you don't know how, because if you do a lot of therapies, then he may be able to speak in the future, but you don't know. So I think he was trying so hard, giving him a lot of therapies, but then after these 4 years of therapies, he still doesn't speak. So the other day, my husband told me I'm giving up. I'm giving up the hope. So for me, I don't think it took so much time to accept. So for me, it is okay. So we actually had this conversation many years ago with my husband, or some years ago. So the way I see it is for example, Kai doesn't have leg, but for him to walk, we give him the leg or some sort of equipment so he can move forward. That's what I see it. But for my husband, no, he has a leg, but he just doesn't know how to move. So that's how we saw this autism diagnosis very differently, because the leg doesn't grow if he doesn't have it.
He doesn't have a leg.
Yeah. So we give him some support some, like artificial leg, whatever, so that he can move around. Yeah. But he was like, no, he's got a leg. We just need to get him learn how to move it, right? So, yeah, I mean, it was interesting, like for us to have very different perspective, I guess. But yeah, it's hard. But I think I accepted it, and there I was pretty ready to give him support so he can, like do his life.
It is, I imagine, tell me if I'm wrong, but you're not stopping at the, okay, but now we have to figure out whether the leg is there or not. Mm-hmm. You're trying to say, okay, what can you do now? Mm. If I'm giving you the equipment, mm-hmm. let's move on. Let's find the smile. Mm-hmm. Let's find the funny. Mm-hmm. Let's amuse ourselves with the jokes about the crappy situation. The resilience of a mother, I love it. And this is the week of Mother's Day, so I just love this. You are finding, I see the way I read your posts, the way I see in your eyes the love coming out of every single pore when you talk about Kai. You're not just, you couldn't care less about that leg. You're seeing him and you want him to move forward and to thrive as he is. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And I understand that sometimes there's really not right or wrong. We all, as with our own personalities, with our own attitude and mindset and background as well, we all come to these situations, and some of us want to find the right answers, and some of us just want to focus on finding the right process. So it sounds like you want to find the right process. The answers might come along and it's very good, but let me find the right process so we can make this work. Mari, is it a possibility to reach out to you in case anyone listening?
Of course, yeah.
Where can they find you?
I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, wherever. You can share the details. Yeah.
Well, I'll put it in the descriptions of the episode.
Yeah, you can send me a message, like private message, and then, yeah.
Mari, anything else you want to add?
No, I think I've spoken too much, I guess.
Never too much. It's beautiful.
Yeah. But I think it's really wonderful that you are doing this, I guess, because knowing, you don't have to know everything, but I think knowing that there are people with some sort of condition have the struggles where you don't see helps them to be kind.
I love it. I grow because of your story personally, because on one hand, I put into a different perspective my own issues, because seriously, when you hear such a complicated journey, you're like, okay, I'll just chill next time when I'm complaining, oh, I broke a nail. But it also teaches you the patience that you've had and you're still having with this journey, and it opens up conversations on topics that we've never talked about, and they are very much present. So thank you, Mari. Thank you so much. I love this, and I excuse us, but right now we have to go and dance a little bit of Zumba. So and have some Italian lunch. So, but we'll see you guys, or we'll come back soon with another podcast episode. Please let us know in the comments the biggest lesson you got from this beautiful encounter. Mari, thank you so much.
Thank you, Minie.
And to you all, stay safe. Ciao.